What is up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. This is the Matt Ramage Show presented by Kwik Trip. And we are live today with Mr. Jimmy. I think I'm having some sound issues here.
No, you sound good.
All right, here we go. But I had some technical. I was getting like some feedback back here. But this is the Matt Ramage Show presented by Kwik Trip. All right, we got Jimmy over here. Let's hang on. I'm screwing this all up. We're gonna be all right. Let me figure this out. But here we go. I'm here with Jimmy, but we're gonna talk about some Packers Bears. All right. And but before we get into this, big shout out to Kwik Trip sponsoring the show. All right, they got some great take-home meals. You know, I'm gonna give you a little word of advice. If you're getting take-home meals, get yourself the macaroni and cheese. They got the breadsticks. All right, they got different types of macaroni and cheese. They got the bacon macaroni and cheese. I like to go original with mine. If you're feeling frisky, throw some tenders in there. You know what I mean? Chicken tenders. But the take-home meals for the macaroni and cheese, I think, is elite. If you're feeling like spending about 2 minutes to microwave that thing, you know what I mean? But what is up, Jimmy? How you doing today?
What's up, man? Dude, you being sponsored by Kwik Trip is the best thing because I stop at Kwik Trip at least 3 or 4 times a day because it is fantastic. So when you were talking about the macaroni, I immediately went to my go-to, which is always I get their rib sandwich, which
all right,
because it goes on sale too. It's like $1.89 sometimes. That thing is fantastic.
Dude, I go to Kwik Trip like every day after work. My wife even like gives me grief. She's like, dude, just cook something. I'm like, dude, they already did it for me. But even like their take-home meals, it's so fast. It's like even the take-home, like you throw in the microwave, stir the thing a little bit. I actually think I might make a how-to video next week just to show how easy the take-home meals are. I absolutely love Kwik Trip. Even before they sponsored me, like that's why, because I was already like doing this stuff. Kwik Trip is Wisconsin, you know what I mean?
For real, dude. It's so good.
It is. But let's talk about you real quick before we jump in this thing, because I've been watching you for a lot of time. We've been on I think other shows together.
Yeah.
Game on Wisconsin. But where can people find you and what are you doing over there in the Packers world?
Yeah, you can find me. Twitter's the main thing it's Jimmy_C08. That's where most of my Packer stuff goes. I'll put it on like an Instagram story here and there. But besides that, my Instagram's mostly just me posting stuff about my kids. So Twitter's the main place. I have Lombardi's Barn Wednesdays. Pack a Day episode comes out on Sunday. So tomorrow, if you want to listen to that, that'll be great. And then I write for Packer Report. I actually got to cover my first game New Year's Eve. I was in Minneapolis and got to cover in the press box and everything, which was
wow,
which was cool. I did not fit in. It was cool.
What's that like being in the press situation?
The biggest. So I was told 2 things before I went by Ross Uglum. Shout out for Packer Report, but he messaged me and said no Packer gear and no crop tops because the one time I met him, I thought it'd be funny to wear a Packer crop top. So I cut it. And so that's all he knows me for now. But I caught myself cheering. Literally, I kept telling myself all game or like all prep to the game. I was like, do not cheer. Like you can't cheer. Literally the first play when Jaden Reed's wide open in the middle, I audibly go, Reed's open. And I had to like catch myself of like, dude, you can't do that right now. You're not a fan, which I like. It's hard to check your reaction. I had 30 years of just yelling nonsense at the TV. So to like change that all of a sudden was tough.
Yeah, that's one thing I know that will never happen for me. They're never gonna have me in the press box. I wouldn't because I was like, everyone's done the Lambeau tours and you get to sit in like little press seats. And I've had like Wes Hotchkiewicz on and other people who are press people. And I've always heard that you can't cheer. And like I don't like the closest thing I've ever been to that when I used to work third shift and I would miss a game, I would record it. And I would like literally watch the game while I'm in my bed, standing at the end of my bed, my wife's sleeping, and and I'd be watching it. I'm like, try not to scream or whatever. And it usually didn't work, but but I could not do that. I could not be a member of the press, and you have to be like not biased. Yeah. Like I am the most biased Packer fan ever.
Oh, for sure. Jordan loves an MVP. That's all. I don't even care what anyone says.
He should be. But we're going to talk about some Packers, Bears. We're going to talk about some rivalries. I want to talk a little trash a little bit. But I also want to give a big shout out to my new sponsor, Nicolay Law. All right, you see the banners all over Wisconsin. All right, he got videos drinking beer. Like, that's my type of lawyer. I want to have if hopefully you never need a lawyer, but if you do, you want to, I would love to have a beer with him first and be like, hey, and have him pay for it. But because you already paid him. No, but Nick Law, they're doing the whole thing. I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but we've talked through messaging or whatever. But I'm excited about this. I think Nick Law is everybody in Wisconsin knows who he is. Even my wife, she likes him more than I would like. She's like, oh yeah, he's hilarious. He's got the best videos. And I'm like, hey, take it easy. All right. But shout out to Nick Law. I'm excited about this. All right, so let's talk about some Packers. Let's talk about some Chicago Bears. First of all, I want to ask you about this because you see these posts all the time about how certain teams are like this state hates this team. I just saw one on Twitter. I posted on my Facebook about like Wisconsin hates the Bears, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, the Vikings, more than that. But it doesn't matter about the Packers or about Wisconsin, but everyone around us hates the Packers. And that's the thing, like the Lions, their most hated rival, the Packers. The Vikings, their most hated rival, the Packers. The Bears or Chicago, their most hated rival is the Packers. And that is how you know that you own a division. When everyone in your division, you are the most hated team. And for the Packers, like you could argue the Bears or the Vikings. For me, it's definitely the Bears. It's always been the Bears. But I think it depends where you live. If you live close to that border. But for no one, it's the Lions. Like, no one cares about
That's the thing. It's like the perfect, what is that, Mad Men, where he's in the elevator. He's like, I don't think about you at all. Like, that's the line. Like, that is the perfect gift, meme, whatever it is for them of like, until maybe Dan Campbell and this year, I never thought about the Lions. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, you guys are cute. I hope you do well. Like that's all it was for them.
Yeah, the Lions, like I get a lot of grief because I talked a little trash about the Lions, which I've never done. I've actually, because that's kind of my whole thing is I talk trash. I run my mouth. And Lions fans would always say to me, like, I like you because you never trash the Lions. It's because like you've never been relevant. And like I don't punch down, and I don't really punch up either because no one's really up against the Packers. Like the Packers have owned this division. And the Vikings, like we've had some scraps like overall, but no one winning anything. So like I'm not worried about any, but at least of all the Lions. But like now we're gonna have to talk a little trash about the Lions. I do think that they have a good team. That I like their coach. I think that he's I like that player type of coach where they're talking about like want to punch you in the face and all that stuff. But they haven't won anything, and I don't think that they're going to win a playoff game this year either, especially if it's against the Packers. I don't know how like all that seeding works. I'm not that smart. You might, but
it's like still all up in the air right now. It all depends on the rank. There's so much. I'm to the point where like once the bracket's set, I'll look at it. Besides that, I'm the same way. I'm like my brain can't handle it. I'm just too many moving pieces.
So for you, how do you rank as far as your hatred goes for the division foes? Who do you got at the number one most hated team in our division?
So my entire life, minus 4 years, I went to college in Minnesota. And so for those 4 years, absolutely hated the Vikings because that's all I would hear about. That's all I would see. But besides that, like I grew up in Milwaukee. So it's Chicago's right there. It's not even just the Bears. I hate everything Chicago. I refuse to take my wife there. She's asked multiple times. I say, I can't. It's a garbage city. I won't go to anything. Like I hate Chicago. So like it has to be the Bears number one. And then Vikings and then Lions because they're just the Lions.
Yeah. My wife said the same thing. She's like, I like to go to Chicago. I'm like, do you realize I cannot go to Chicago? Like, even if I wanted to, like, I feel like it would only take one Bears fan who recognized me from like Instagram and would just beat the crap out of me.
Like your tires are getting slashed.
You know what I mean? I can't fight, and with the last 5-10 years, I can't run no more either. So I just gotta go ahead and take that. I just gotta take that beating. No, but I would think that sports fans ain't like that. But I have no interest in going to Chicago. First of all, I'm not big on big cities. Like Green Bay is a big city for me. Like Milwaukee, obviously more. I go there every now and again. the traffic. Like even if I go to a Bucks game, I'll invite my son because
awful.
then I'll make him drive. I'm like, hey, if you drive, I'll we can go to a Bucks game because going to a Bucks game is great. It's a whole different thing. But yeah, I have no interest in ever going to Chicago and Minneapolis. Who wants to go there? Like, I know that a lot of people who will follow me, like the Packer fans who live there. I could not live there, and not because I get a trash city. I just don't like traffic. Like I'm saying, I'm telling you, even like Green Bay, go on Mason Street, Main Street. I'm not interested. That Packer traffic after I can't deal with traffic. I live in a town with like 4,000 people. It's a little bit north of Green Bay, and even on Sundays when people are going to church, I get frustrated. I mean, like dude, I don't like traffic.
We just moved probably 2 years ago now. Maybe a little less than 2 years ago. We moved from Milwaukee. We live in a town called Maryland, Wisconsin. It has like 300 people. And now whenever I go to Milwaukee, I absolutely hate it because it's the same thing. It's like I get so stressed out from so many cars around me. There's so many people. I look at them like I don't like people anymore. I got used to not seeing any of you guys. This is I like just kind of the seclusion of a small town.
Yeah, I can't deal with Milwaukee traffic. I think Milwaukee's a great city. I've been there. I remember even asked people who live there, like, how do you guys drive on the highway? They're like, we don't. Like, we go through town. Like, we're not spending much time on that highway because people on that highway in Milwaukee are crazy. Like, I remember like
even worse.
The exits are on the left, some are on the right. They're all over the place. Like, me and my wife, like, we just scream at each other. Like, she's like, take that exit. I'm like, it's shut down. They're fixing it.
It's been shut down for like 10 years too. That's the worst part. You're like, how the heck are you still shut down?
And then she's got the GPS, take a left. I'm not cutting through that guy's yard. The GPS is wrong. But it's horrible. But great cities, but like I have no interest in driving in traffic. Like I have no. Anyway, so let's talk about some football stuff. You know what I mean? Why people tuned in, probably. And the Bears are playing better, right? Yeah. That's what Bears fans tell me. And but looking right here, the last 5 games, the Bears are 4-1, Packers are 3-2. But the thing about the Packers, right? Because I've been pumping up Jordan Love, and everyone's like, well, they're 8-8. If he's so great, why are they 8-8? Like they don't even take into account that the Packers, like Jordan Love's first year starting, and then because they always want to point out like this game early in the season, like this game or that game. I'm like, yeah, it's first year starting. He had some stumbles. Everyone said during the offseason going to be some ups and downs, and there was definitely some downs, but there was some awesome ups. He's I think 3rd place in touchdowns, passing touchdowns in the league, which is insanity. Like even like I'm the most Jordan Love hype up man that there is, and even I wouldn't have guessed that he'd be 3rd in touchdowns. And no, but like you can't talk about the record because I absolutely believe that next year that the Packers, Jordan Love's going to be an MVP conversation unless he has a crazy downfall, which I don't see happening. But I forgot where I was going with this. But you can't look at the record and be like, this is what this team is. Obviously, the defense is what. The defense has had some struggles, but I expect them to play up. But I don't know where the question is in this. But like, what do you think about what do you think about this Packers team, and like where they're sitting right now? Like how good is the Packers team?
So the thing, like you mentioned it, and it was perfect. It's like we went into the season knowing there's going to be just ups and downs. It's Jordan Love's, as much as people want to say like, no, it's his 4th year. Shut up. It's his first year starting.
Exactly.
Like practice is practice. You don't get to the next level of the game unless you're getting in-game snaps. And we saw it started off hot, scoring 38 points against the Bears team. We had a few stumbles along the way, but like the way he's playing right now. They said the second half of the season, he's playing better than like he's honestly like a top 5 quarterback. If you look at the second half of the year, like he's just been playing ridiculous. And the craziest part is we have not had all of our wide receivers, all of our tight ends, and all of our running backs healthy for a single game all year. And we're still not going to this game because AJ Dillon's out. So like all this stuff this team is doing is with key people out of the game, which is like, you can say whatever you want about, oh, this is a different Bears team. I would hope so. It's been 18 weeks. You guys sucked the first week. So like, I'd hope you change a little bit. Like they're 2 different teams right now. And this Packers team is rolling. The biggest weakness, and I know fans already know, the defense and Joe Barry. It is what it is at this point. We got a couple more weeks left, but the offense is a strong point. This defense has studs on it with Kenny Clark, Rashawn, Preston, Jair's coming back. Like, this team's in a great spot. And a Super Bowl run, I'm not going to go that far, but I wholeheartedly believe if we make the playoffs, no team wants to face us week 1.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like you talking about, like people talking about this is year 4 for him and he should be this, he should be that, because he watched. All right, because obviously he was a good quarterback, like he got to this level for a reason. But like I always say, like at my job, if they just said, hey, go and watch that guy do a job, and then after such time, you should be able to do it by yourself. Like until you do something, you don't really know. So there's going to be things that you didn't anticipate. There's going to be things mistakes that are made. Like, you know, especially in football, like, I don't know. I've never been a quarterback before at any level. They never let me. I mean, even in flag football, they're like, nah, we're fine.
Not today.
They let me play like offensive line and I would just trip people. And back in flag football, they let that slide.
Yeah,
but
that's smart though. That's just working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I do. I can't block them. You know, I was skinny back then. You know, that's some things have changed. But yeah, I think until he got into the game, like things started clicking for him. Obviously, the game is how they say slowed down. I think Jordan Love is that dude, and I've been saying it. And I know people even in this stream are going to talk crap about that, but absolutely, though, if the defense was playing up, I think the record would be a lot different. And I'm not like the type of guy who's like woulda, coulda, woulda, because you are what you are. Like you are your record. You are absolutely are your record, and no crying about whatever. But I feel like if they get into the playoffs, which I think they will, that experience for Jordan Love and for this team, and not just Jordan Love, but like the receivers, like it's a very young offense, and even Matt LaFleur calling a game with Jordan Love as quarterback, and having that playoff experience, depending on like who it is, because there's some tough playoff teams like this NFC. But a lot of them, you know, they're beatable. Like the Eagles, they slouched. Like the Cowboys, they've had their games. I'm not going to go and say that the Packers are going to go start rolling everyone. We'll go week to week with that, with my trash talk. I'm not going to start.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
But I think the Packers can win a playoff game. Absolutely. I think if they get in, but they have to beat the Bears. I know the Bears are playing up. They're going to be coming out feisty. You got that safety. I forget his name now. I never heard of him before, but Brisket or Brisker or whatever his name is.
Let's just say Brisket because I just like that better. I'm only going to think of him as Brisket from now on.
He's saying he's not real impressed with Jordan Love. I'm not sure if he was playing the first game. They got pummeled. And then the thing about the first Packers-Bears game, that was Jordan Love's very first start as a starter. Obviously, he was in there last year. But as a starter, as that guy, and everyone's like, Jordan Love sucks. Blah, the Packers are in quarterback, you know, whatever, forever. Came out, made Jordan Love look delicious. Made him look beautiful. You know what I mean? Obviously, he had some stumbles after that. But if Jordan Love and this very, very young offense in the very first game did that to them then, like, I hate this. I actually don't hate it. I'd love to see what's going to happen this game. I think the Bears' offense is better. But I'm not sold on their defense, just like Mr. Brisket isn't sold on Jordan Love. And I just think it's funny because Justin Fields said all the Packers fans will be loud because there's nothing to do in Green Bay. You know what there is to do in Green Bay? Watch the Packers beat the Bears 9 times in a row. Because the Bears are like not even competitive. Like if they lose this game, if the Bears lose this game, and I saw Aaron Rodgers, you know, he was on McAfee saying, is it even a rivalry? To me, it is. Because I love the Packer-Bear rivalry. I think it's the greatest rivalry in sports. And I know I'm biased, crazy biased with that. But if they lose 10 in a row to the Packers, like, dude, how do you even like put a Bears hat on after that? I don't know where the question is here, but like, I
love how that's how you lead up to these. Dude, I just ramble and just ask any random thing. I'm like, into it. I'll fill in.
All right, no, but like, let me ask you this: like, what do you think that this Bears offense? You know, they're obviously playing better. You know, they're the Bears right here. The points per game, they got 21.9. Packers at 22.9. Packers are giving up 21.3. But like, what do you think that this Bears offense? Do you think that Joe Barry? Because like last week they obviously stepped up a little bit on defense. Do you think that continues, or do you think because Justin Fields can run? Like he's a freakish athlete. I don't even hate Justin Fields. Like I always say, I don't hate him. He seems like a good dude.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm like screw this guy, but I just don't. I'm not real impressed. I think that Jordan Love is better. I really do.
No, I'm the same way. For me, the Bears, and we can talk when we bring up the defense later, I'll hit on that more. Like the defense is their strength. The offense has improved. Justin Fields, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. I think he's a decent quarterback. But the thing is, I think his ceiling is honestly league average, like quarterback play. His scrambling might boost that up a little bit. But when you go down to it, DJ Moore, a motivated Jair Alexander coming back off that suspension with a chip on his shoulder. He always steps up against good wide receivers. Like that's just what he does. We saw that with Stephon Diggs last year. We saw that with Justin Jefferson last year. He steps up with good receivers. He's playing DJ Moore, who is a good one. Coming back off that suspension, I expect him motivated as all heck, just ready to go. And then Valentine has been solid too as a quarterback or cornerback number 2. So the offense doesn't worry me as much. It's honestly just the mobility of Justin Fields, because I don't know if it's just PTSD from that Michael Vick playoff game against the Packers and then Colin Kaepernick whooping our butt. And then Tommy DeVito this year going for 72 yards. It's that like mobile quarterback. And as much as he is a dominant player, Rashawn Gary, who again, arguably our best defender, he is sometimes too aggressive for his own good and doesn't contain the edge. And he can be really disciplined. It's just when he has to do that this game, because if he crashes hard to make a play, then Justin Fields can scoot around. And that's the thing is like, if Rashawn makes a mistake, it's not because he was like slacking. It's because he tried to do too much, which like, if you have a player, that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like if you want it aggressive. If you make a mistake, make it fast. And that's what he does. But Justin Fields, like you have to contain that edge, which could be just keep Rashawn focused and Preston on the other side focused on just maintaining that edge, and we'll be golden.
Yeah, like I saw that Preston Smith was like on the injury report, but I'm looking at the CBS Sports. They don't have Preston Smith on here as questionable. I actually DM'd him, and I was like, I kind of hinted around. I hope you're okay to play on Sunday. He didn't respond. He was like, nah, I ain't giving you nothing. But I think Preston Smith is really good at holding his spot of not getting sucked in. And I'm not no film buff. I'm not at all. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I just like as a fan. Mm-hmm. But Preston Smith seems like hold his own. He doesn't get sucked in a lot of stuff. He stays where he does his job. Like
he's savvy. Like he's a savvy veteran. He knows what to do and he does it, which is perfect.
Yeah, he does exactly his job. I absolutely love Preston Smith, like how he plays. And but yeah, Rashawn Gary is that dude, like go get the quarterback, rip his head off. Like Rashawn Gary, he's that dude. I absolutely love Rashawn Gary too, but he's like you mentioned Jair Alexander. I wanted to talk about that before. But like Jair Alexander, like he said all the right things coming out of the suspension. Everyone's saying, well, he'll be traded. My son's over here. He's going to play for the Ravens next year. The cap hit that the Packers would have to trade him, Jair Alexander would absolutely have to come out in the offseason and say, I don't want to play here. And then they're like, well, he's going to be a problem, which I don't believe that is going to happen. His teammates love him. He loves his teammates. You know, everyone like backed him up.
Can I ask you a question though about Jair?
Yeah.
Does it bug you? Because it bugged me where he said like, oh, my interviews might be a little more serious now. Where to me, it's like, well, don't do that to him. Like, let him still be himself. Like that takes away his whole fun personality of like, I'll be a little more serious. Like, no, because you were an all pro being goofy. Just be goofy.
Yeah, I like the goofiness, and I absolutely don't think that they should like limit that. I think I don't even know like what they should. Obviously, like what he did, like, like you're not a captain. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be a captain now. Like they had to, like he talked about the communication. Like they have to. I don't know. They didn't know that he was from there and that he wanted to do that, or if maybe he should have told them. I don't know what the communication was, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that they should limit him. I don't think players at all like those, I wouldn't say flamboyant, but like those like players with swagger, those players like Deion Sanders, not to compare him to Deion because Deion had a whole career, whatever. But I don't think that you should limit those players from being themselves. I think players being themselves is what makes them better. But obviously, like certain things can't happen. But I think Jair like learned from that. Like, and I don't mean to sound like a ESPN stool. Well, you learned from that, he'll be better for it. But like that's like, but I think that he learned like, all right, because like everyone finds the line. Like even like me, like in certain things, you find the line. Like, all right, I stepped over it. Let me just scale back a little bit. I don't think the interviews were a problem. No. I like the interviews. He comes out there, he has fun, and like because I don't watch press conferences because to me press conferences are so boring. The media, and I'm not trashing the media, but they're going to ask the same questions because that's their job to ask these questions. Matt LaFleur and all these guys, they're going to give the same answers because they don't want to give too much, and they're just kind of like going through like Belichick press conference. Those are actually entertaining because he's so much the other way. Yeah, he's just like, we're on to Cincinnati. I don't care about that. Whatever. I like Jair's interviews because they make him like entertaining. Like I can't watch it. I watch the highlights because people post them on Twitter or whatever. I'll get the highlights, but I can't sit through a whole press conference. But I definitely I wouldn't take away Jair's swagger. I love Jair. I even like when he first got here, like when I first started hearing him talk, I'm like, dude, I like this dude. Like and I think it's important, especially on defense. Like I've always said, it's like when Za'Darius came over and Amos, Preston, they were all over here, and like they made it like fun. Like if your defense is having fun, they're successful. If your defense isn't like really, anytime someone makes a play, they run over to the end zone. They all do like this thing. I feel like that happens when your defense is good. They're making plays. If it's not happening, then there might be a problem. So yeah, I think Jair's going to come out this week. I think he's going to ball. I think a lot of guys are coming back. People talk about the injury report, but a lot of guys like you got Reed is questionable, Christian Watson questionable. I think they're saying Christian Watson's probably going to play. AJ Dillon's out. This is not updated what I'm looking at because AJ Dillon was out, but they got him questionable. But I think a lot of guys are coming back.
Yeah. One thing I saw though, which was a good point, is by like Matt Schneidman, was that so they activated Dubose from the practice squad. And then with Toure already on IR, they're saying that maybe that means that either Watson, Reed, or Wick, the three questionables, one of them's not playing because that's why they activated him. So like out of those three, which one do you think wouldn't make it?
I don't really know the injury to Jaden Reed, like the details, but like Christian Watson, he's been out for a minute with a hamstring.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Yeah, I think like if it's iffy, like if he comes back, but what is Wick's injury? Like I don't even know. Like
I think he had a chest one too. I think on his touchdown against the Panthers.
Yeah,
he got rocked. Yeah, and then he's been out. But that's the tough part is they literally just name a body part and you're just like, okay, it's a chest injury. There's so many other things that it could be.
I walk up the stairs, I get a chest injury. I'm always I'm like,
you got the hands up breathing in.
Yeah, it's like lift your head up. Don't let the breathing stop. That's my main goal in life. Just don't stop breathing. But I think Christian Watson playing would be something. I absolutely love Jaden Reed. I think Jaden Reed is going to be a superstar. I think Wicks is great too. I'm excited about this young receiving group. I think that they definitely hit on some of these draft picks. And if these guys all grow together, all these receivers, and then the tight ends, like what do you think about Musgrave might be coming back? So let me ask you about Musgrave. How do they use Musgrave and Kraft together? Because obviously Kraft has shown that he can be that guy. So Musgrave, like he likes to he falls down sometimes. That was like the thing before he got hurt.
Yeah. He doesn't fall down sometimes. That's what we should say. He usually falls down.
Yeah, but like what do you think about these guys? Like how do they work them on the field at the same time? And like with these receivers and the tight ends, I feel like this offense can be so crazy.
Dude, that's the great American mystery right now. I don't know how they use them on the field at the same time. What I'm so excited to find out. Like Musgrave is such a wide receiver type of tight end, and Kraft is just a do-it-all, blocking his butt off nonstop. Like we saw him literally throw down Danielle Hunter, like a top 5 defensive end in the NFL. Tucker Kraft, a rookie, threw him down on a play. I think that's where it's going to get like LaFleur can have some fun of like with those two in at the same time. You're going to think Musgrave is the threat of the receiving threat, but that's where Kraft can get sneaky then because he's the second your second thought at tight end because Musgrave is such a freak athlete. So like they can get really really tricky. The one thing I worry about with all the weapons coming back is LaFleur not sticking with the basics and just trying to be too creative. Where it's kind of like, hey, man, at this point, you've been killing it. Just stick with that. Don't try to get too fancy right now. Save that crap till next year. Just score. But I don't, honestly, that is one question I can't answer. I don't know how they're going to use both of them, but I can't wait to find out because it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing is because they could use them, like even if they're not in at the same time, they can use them in different situations. They're not going to have a fall off, and like they can say, all right, when we're being aggressive, we want to use this guy. When we're doing this, we want to use that guy. Like they're not going to have. I feel like they can just they can use them both to their highest potential. Because the Packers they haven't really had some top tier tight ends in a while, and I feel like right now, I think a lot of people are saying like Kraft is better than Musgrave. Well, Musgrave's been hurt. So like, I'm not saying who's better than who. I don't care. Like
they're just different players.
Yeah,
it's like saying Reed and Watson are the same. They're not the same. Watson's a freak athlete, speedster. Reed is a shifty slot guy. Like they're both can be great at their craft. It's the same thing with Tucker Kraft and Musgrave.
Yeah, it's like you have two drinking buddies, right? One of them will be like just chugging tequila, whatever. Put a shot on him, he's gonna drink that thing, and the other guy's slow, mellow. But the shot guy, he might puke on your carpet. You know what I mean? He might puke in your.
He might puke a shot. Your carpet's getting ruined, my boy.
Yeah, that's the guy your wife says don't invite him over anymore. He puked in my plant, and I think that's how players are. And the coach's responsibility is to get them to use them the right way. And just like you have your buddies over, you're like, hey, don't give that guy a shot. He's gonna puke and he's gonna.
This guy's staying outside. We're gonna drink by the fire now, guys.
yeah, we're having a bonfire. We got a puker in the house. But I what do you think about Matt LaFleur? Because I'm a big Matt LaFleur guy, but there's been times where I was like, like you mentioned about trying to be too tricky, and this isn't Matt LaFleur, but I remember back when Randall Cobb was young, and I felt like they really tried to force him the ball. Like this is the guy we want to do this stuff, and I felt like I love Randall Cobb, but I feel like you need to have the offense play to like their ability to just play the offense. Don't care about names. Don't worry about numbers. Just whoever's open, whoever like how the game goes, go to them. But what do you think about Matt LaFleur and how he can because he seems like a creative type of guy. He does he does like that jet sweep, not all the time, just that one game.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
he was like
85 times.
Yeah, he's like, and I remember I think I was live streaming that day, and I was just like, oh, another jet sweep. There we go. I hate the jet sweep like in Madden because I suck at it. It never works. But in real life, like if it works, you're a genius, and if it doesn't work, you're not. And if you use it 9 times and it works 4, I don't know what they call you. But are you confident in Matt LaFleur and like bringing this team? Because I feel like this offense has the piece, especially going forward like throughout the years. But are you confident in Mr. LaFleur?
I am. I think the biggest thing, and this is going to sound really weird for a second, but I think what kind of hindered the LaFleur style offense, not the Packers as a whole, but when you had Rodgers and you had Devontae Adams, like you had 2 of the top people in their position. Yeah. And of course, you're going to target. You had top 2, not 2. You're going to target him, which makes sense.
Oh, yeah, you got to.
But right now, we have a quarterback trying to figure out his way. We have, before Watson, I felt there was a time where I thought Love would try to force it to Watson a little bit, maybe to get his confidence up. But when he went out, like you saw Love just like, you know what, screw it. I'm playing within this offense. I'm hitting who's open. I don't care if you're Bo Melton. I don't care if you're Romeo Dobbs in 3rd down and we need to get a play against the Panthers. Like I'm throwing to who I think is going to make the play right now. And I think that's the LaFleur offense. Because it came from Kyle Shanahan, and we see that this year of like, yeah, they have the big names of like Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, Kittle, but you don't know which ones go off whatever game because it changes nonstop because they have talent. The Packer team's the same way. We might not have that top end like Deebo Samuel talent right now, but we have depth, and Love is going to hit whoever. And that's like, I think this team right now, that's like the biggest strength is you don't know, like you cannot figure out who Love's going to go to on a certain play because he makes you guess. Like it goes from Reed to Melton to Tucker Kraft to Ben Sims get some targets sometimes. And dude has a curly afro, like a curly mullet. Like if he's getting targets, you know, they're just throwing to whoever.
Yeah. I think like fantasy owners hate it, but if you like, you don't have a superstar. I think that there's some guys that will be superstars. I think Christian Watson definitely has that deal. And I think Reed could be like any of these guys. You never know because they're all young. Christian Watson, you know, he's got some injuries, but I think he's a dude that could absolutely be a superstar. But right now, and hopefully even going further, that they don't have like obviously like you mentioned, Devontae Adams. Like you have a Devontae Adams, get him the ball. You can't like, all right, he had 4 targets. You can't have that. Like but like this team, like just throw it to whoever's open, whatever, you know, they're not scheming to try to like get that. I'm sure to a certain degree they're scheming because this guy that this is what he's good at. They're trying to do that, but they're not trying to force it in there. And I think that is what's good about the offense. Like you mentioned, the Niners, like it doesn't matter, just win. Like Tom Brady actually had a clip. I see Tom Brady clips nonstop. Now he's a public speaker. Yeah, now he's a public speaker. He's always got that little mic, that little skinny mic. That's how you know. That's how you know that they good at what they do. They don't give skinny mics to people who are stupid. Yeah, I noticed that. But he was saying, he's like, if you're a me type of guy, then I want you on the other team. And I feel like this offense doesn't have a me type of guy. Like there's no one. Even Jordan Love seems very like his you know, because like I said it before this season, like we never really hear him talk. Like Aaron Rodgers, we kind of know his personality. We kind of know his sense of humor. We've heard Aaron Rodgers talk is more than probably most humans that we've ever heard talk. I've heard Aaron Rodgers speak more than my wife, but he doesn't stop. But with Jordan Love, even now that we're kind of hearing him talk, you really don't really have a sense. He seems, I wouldn't say shy, but like he's not really outgoing to the public. I'm sure within his friends and teammates, he is more. But we never really. I forgot where I was going with this too. But let me switch it over here because I want to talk about Justin Fields. Right, Justin Fields is obviously a playmaker. What do you think the Bears do in this draft? And like, does it depend on if they win this game? If they go, 0-10, because right now they're 0-9 against the Packers, and if they go 0-10, do they? Or maybe it doesn't even matter if they win or lose this game. Do you think they draft a quarterback, maybe trade Justin Fields, let him be free, or do you think that they go forward with him?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think so. This is actually something. It is such a good one.
I'm such a good podcaster. Very rare if someone's on my podcast and you're like, "That's a good question." You're like, really? That's what we're talking about?
I was thinking earlier of like everyone's saying right now, like, "Oh, the pressure's on the Packers. The pressure's on the Packers." Like it's their the Bears have nothing to play for. Like it's just house money. So you mean there's no pressure on Justin Fields, who is literally playing for his career this game because he might be who knows where next year. Their coach who's playing for his job. Their defensive when a coach is gone, everybody else probably is gone. The defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, Jalen Johnson's playing for a new contract on that defense or a different team. So you're trying to say there's no pressure on this team. Like, look at Justin Fields. That's the thing is like, I don't know what they do with him next year. Like he has to have so much pressure going into this game because if they keep him instead of drafting Caleb Williams or Drake May or the guy from LSU, Daniels, I don't watch college that much. I know the top couple guys. If you don't draft them, it's going to be the whole thing of Mitch Trubisky over Mahomes again, because now you're looking at Fields and you're going to constantly compare them to the other guys. And then if you trade him, he's starting over on God knows what team. You're not trading for Fields if you're a good team. It's like the Bears taking him when they did. Like you're a bad team already. You're trying to find an answer. If he goes to the Falcons, they might be getting a new head coach. Like Fields really is in such a tough situation because no matter what happens, like you're going to be scrutinized regardless. I think for him, the best thing is just have a fresh start because if the Bears pass on Caleb Williams, if they pass on Drake May, that's all he's going to be compared to for the rest of his career. And it's just, that's not a good spot. That's like Jordan Love. All he's going to be compared to is Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, because that's who he's third in line on that point.
Yeah, I feel like the Jordan Love pressure and the Fields pressure, it's not the same, but there's still a lot of pressure because, like you say, Jordan Love, because Aaron Rodgers had the pressure because going on from Brett Favre, but now you got 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. The pressure, like the fans do not have. The Packer fans don't play. They're brutal, and just like the whole NFL scene in general, ESPN, like everyone's putting so much pressure on Jordan Love, and I feel like Jordan Love in his first year far exceeded a lot of expectations. He's doing it, but Justin Fields, I feel like the Bears are not good at quarterbacks. It's like they're kryptonite. Like they could have had Patrick Mahomes, but I feel like if they did draft Patrick Mahomes, you wouldn't even know his name. You'd have forgot him. He'd be a backup for the Steelers or wherever Trubisky is. Like,
yeah.
Like I think Patrick Mahomes has obviously natural.
At this point.
Yeah. Like I feel like Patrick Mahomes obviously has natural talent. I like Patrick Mahomes a lot, so I'm not dogging him at all. But like the Bears, I feel like they just ruined quarterbacks. I've always said it. Quarterbacks die in Chicago. Like their careers never happen. I think Justin Fields is like a freak athlete, but like you have to use Justin Fields how he's being meant to use. Like he's like use his like Lamar Jackson in at the Ravens. Like they kind of at first like he got hurt. Like, all right, let's scale it back. Let's tweak some things so like he's not getting hurt because we can't run him all the time. They don't run him to death. But like I feel like Justin Fields is that same type of playmaker. But they I'm not sure that the Bears, even like that 1 week when he's like, next week I'm gonna go out there and just do my thing, and he's basically said, screw these coaches, I'm gonna go do my own. And then he went out the next week and balled. So like I feel like the coaches, it doesn't even matter who the coach is. I feel like Chicago is just doomed to not know how to run an offense, not know how to handle quarterbacks. And I feel like if Justin Fields, the best thing for him is to get out of Chicago. But like you said, who is he going to go to if they do trade him? Some trash team. But I feel like even a trash team could handle him better than Chicago. Because I feel like Chicago, like they're in a constant rebuild since like 87. Like after they won an 85 Super Bowl, like they had a couple years they were trying to string it together. And ever since then, they got the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. Everyone always talks about that. Like he has as many NFC championships, but like, yeah, but you didn't win. So I don't care about Rex Grossman.
That's the thing. Is how are you going to celebrate? You're going to celebrate an NFC championship win. He didn't do the thing though. That's what he didn't. Yeah, he didn't win the game. So who cares?
Yeah, that's like being invited to something, but like you're invited to a big dance, but then the girl you brought didn't want to dance with you. So like, was it? You know what I mean? You're like not gonna.
She's grinding with somebody else.
Yeah, she's over in the corner making out with some guy. Like, yeah, but I was with her when we got here. But Bears fans, Viking fans, all these fans, they always find things to like talk trash about the Packers, which I think is great. Like, yeah, you had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, only 2 rings. Like, in that time span, what have any of your teams done? So like we've already had those conversations. Like
but honestly, like I blame Tom Brady and Bill Belichick for that.
Yeah,
because they skewed so many people's perception.
They said people think like
so high. People's like, oh no, it should be so easy to go to the Super Bowl and win it 6-7 times. Like, no, those 2 are just absolute freaks. Like that is literally once in a lifetime. That will never happen again for a coach and a quarterback to win 6 championships together. That will not happen again.
No, it won't. Like if you look at all the great quarterbacks, take Tom Brady out of it. Look at all the great quarterbacks. Or Peyton Manning. Like I think he's got 2, right? Yep. You take, Aaron Rodgers has got 1. Like Dan Marino has 0. There's a whole bunch of other we can list quarterbacks off forever, but there's not a lot of quarterbacks that have, Joe Montana did his thing.
Yep.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that do it multiple times and it just destroy a whole decade and just win. Mm-hmm. So like I think the expectations are so high, and I absolutely do blame the Patriots for that, because if it wasn't for the Patriots, people wouldn't look at the Packers like so harshly. But I don't care, because the Packers, I mean, I obviously wish they would have won more, and they should have. There were so many years like some fluke thing happened, that Seahawks game and its championship game. That one still keeps me up at night.
Yeah,
that's why I drink so much.
You just bringing it up.
Yeah, I know. That one. That's one of the reasons I drink so much, because like there was like 13 things. If one of them would have went right, they would have won that game. And I remember like talking trash during that game. I was like, oh, because the Seahawks were like a pain in our, they were like that team that got at us. And I was like, oh, now what, Seahawks fans? Yeah, and then it just, I don't want to talk about it.
Dude, my mom messaged me, and I will never forgive her to this day. Just kidding, love you, Mom. But she messaged me and said, hey, because the Super Bowl is in Arizona. And she messaged me and she was like, hey, I texted your cousins in Arizona. They said we can stay there for the Super Bowl. And I was like, be quiet right now. It is the third quarter. Do not. And then sure as heck, we lose. I was so mad at her. I was like, you jinxed us.
Dude, you want to know? I don't think I ever told you the story. When the Packers went to Super Bowl 45, my wife, we were watching the championship game, and she gets a call, and she's like jumping up and down. She's like, we're going to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. She's like, no, we are going to the Super Bowl. And then I was like, what? And then she's like, she's going to the Super Bowl, like with her work or whatever. But it wasn't we, it was her. I was like, so I was like, I don't know if I should be happy for you or not, because like, I'm not. I wish I was. She went to the Super Bowl. I watched it with my brother-in-law. It was still as good. He's all right. But it wasn't like going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, she got the funniest story. So like, because during the Super Bowl they had like that ice storm, right?
Yeah.
And she's on like this tour bus type of thing, right? Where they're like driving on a hill and it's all ice and there's cars like smacking into each other, like it's a whole thing with all these cars. And then I think the bus driver said, "Don't worry, everyone, I'm from Wisconsin." He's like, I know how to drive in this. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah, we'll be good.
People in Texas, they don't know how to drive in cold weather. You get a little bit of ice, but yeah. So let's hear your score prediction for this game. What do you think is going to happen? And like even more than a score prediction, how do you think that this game is going to play out?
Oh, my big thing for this game is the last 2 weeks we scored 33 points. We did extremely well in offense, and to me, the reason is like there's a big thing in common. Aaron Jones had back-to-back 100-yard games. Like, no matter what, Jordan Love, he's going to get the focus of this team right now, which is fine. He deserves it. He's been incredible. Aaron Jones is still the guy. Like, he needs to get, especially with A.J. Dillon out, he needs to get 15 to 20 touches. He has to.
Yeah, minimum.
And the Bears' run defense has been solid. But if you want Jordan Love to have that play action, you want the passing game to open up, Aaron Jones has to be a focus. So I think as long as that's happening, I still think no matter what people say about DVOA, EPA, all these stinking stats about I caught it.
No, all that's like a hockey play. Nice save, bro.
All these stinking stats about this Bears defense. As long as that's happening, Packers are solid. I'm going to go 31. I'm going to go 31-21 Packers.
Yeah, see, I haven't made a score prediction. I'm not really good at score predictions, but I know a lot of people saying that this game is going to be close, that the Bears are playing better. But I feel like the Bears, like when they face the Packers, like the Packers just, like, I don't know if it's some kind of superiority complex. Like, I feel like the Bears crumble. And not always, because they weren't all blowouts. Not act like they're all blowouts. I don't remember. My memory's not that good. It might have been. Who knows? But I think the Packers are going to win at 35-13, I'm going to say. I don't think the Bears are going to have that good of a game. And I know if something happens, I always think it's funny, like whenever I make videos, like if the Packers end up losing, they comment on my Instagram, this didn't age well. My favorite is like after the Packers beat the Lions on Thanksgiving, I made like some meme where it's like two dogs. Everyone's seen this meme. There's like different logos on it. And then the dog comes through and knocks one out of the way. And it was like the Packers knocking the Lions off. Yeah. Like it didn't get a lot of attention until after the Lions won the division. And then some Lions paid must have shared it and they got going again. And all the Lions thought this didn't age well. I'm like, yeah, it did. My point was the Packers beat the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. That was moment, what the meme was. Its job, dude.
It absolutely aged well. But dude, the Bears don't scare me. Like if you go out drinking with a guy and 3 times in a row he pukes in your car, all right, that's what you expect from that guy, right? Yeah, you expect to get your seats puked on.
Yep.
And like that's the Bears have not shown me they're not going to puke in my seats. So until the Bears can beat the Packers, like they're 0-9. the last 9 games. The Bears do not scare me. People are like, aren't you scared a little bit because they're playing? No, they don't scare me at all. The Bears do not scare me at all. The Bears are a trash team. Not only just a trash team, they're a trash franchise. I feel like all the way from the top to the bottom, like I think they're getting evicted. They got to go play somewhere else now.
Have we figured out why their DC had to resign all of a sudden after there's all those like weird reports coming out and then they get equipment stolen? Like you're saying, just trash from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
You go all the way to equipment team and they're getting that stuff stolen. Like that's how you know it's bad. You got your tractor stolen. What are you doing?
Yeah, like I can't imagine a situation someone could break into Lambeau Field and start stealing stuff. I know for a fact because I've tried. I didn't want to steal stuff. I just wanted to run around a little bit.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna try and then call Nicolay to bail me out. Be like, hey man, I broke into Lambeau. You got me or what?
Dude, even like when I was there, when I did that video with Kwik Trip and Rashawn Gary, and we do all stuff like if you walk too far, like yeah, scale it back, bud, get back out. You don't have clearance, like get out of there. But I think the Bears are just a trash franchise. They don't know how to run a franchise. I'm not sure that they even care. Like, do the owners care? They seem to care, but like I don't know. The Bears are not a team that scare me. I respect them. I respect Bears fans and because they got history and like all that stuff. But like as of late, they haven't done anything. It doesn't matter who the players are. The Packers just seem to own them. And I would love it so much for Jordan Love to rush in a touchdown and just do a Aaron Rodgers. Now I own you. Now I own you. I don't think that's in Jordan Love's like how he is. Yeah. Especially early on in his career. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would have yelled that in his first year starting. But I would love for Jordan Love to be like, I own you, and give him one of these.
What if he just pulls out like a deed from under his shoulder pads and just holds it up? Just
like,
Love, Soldier Field.
And just like an autograph from Aaron Rodgers. He signed it over, bro. He signed it over. But I absolutely think that Jordan Love is that dude. I'm excited about Jordan Love, and not just him, that this whole offense going forward. All the people that were like trashing Jordan Love like early into the year, even now still they're I'm not sold. Well, I don't care if you're sold. Kurt Warner is. That's what always gets me. Like it'd be like this dude on Facebook, like, well, let's see what he does when the playoffs. And Kurt Warner's okay with him. I'm okay with him. I trust his opinion more than whatever some dude on Twitter with his like username like Billy whatever 45974.
There's so many people on Twitter where their name literally has Aaron Rodgers in it. And I think to myself, like, what brings you to the point where you're going to name your Twitter or name your account after another man that you've never met? It has zero, not even on your team anymore, dude. Like, let's change this Aaron Rodgers Truther 99 to something else. Like,
like crazy. That's the thing, because I still got lots of love for Aaron Rodgers, like forever, unless he does something crazy. But like people who were like, even when Favre was gone, I was the biggest Brett Favre backer back in the day when Favre was playing. I'm like, he's the best all time. I would fight people. I lost friendships over that, like for real, like people on Facebook, because like when he went to Minnesota, I would trash him because I got mad. But like after he was done, I'm like, all right, now he's back. And the same with Aaron Rodgers. I don't trash Aaron Rodgers because he plays for the Jets. If you play for the Vikings, I get emotional. You go to one of the rivals. I can't. I feel like it's your brother. You know what I mean? Like you love him, but like he try to get crazy with your wife or something. One time.
Now you got to stab him. Yeah, he
does something crazy, and I feel like when they go to the division rival, but afterwards it's not the same because afterwards you can forgive. You might not be able to forgive all that, but as long as Aaron Rodgers stays out the division, which I think he will, he plans on playing with the Jets, and he's got his people over there. Like we'll see what happens with that. But like the same thing with Jordan Love. As soon as he stepped in, I'm all whoever's starting for the Green Bay Packers at quarterback, I got him. And like obviously, like if a quarterback comes in, he's just not good. I'm not going to keep saying that he's that dude, he's that guy, and he's playing horribly. But Jordan Love has 30 touchdowns, 31 touchdowns passing,
something like that. Yeah.
34 total touchdowns. That's ridiculous. How can you even like come to grips saying, no, I'm not impressed? 34 total touchdowns. Not saying people are like, yeah, well, Tom Brady had 50. I'm like, yeah, in his first year starting, did he? Like, why are you comparing him to a Hall of Fame quarterback? And then people get mad at me because they say like I'm saying Jordan Love's gonna be a Hall of Fame. I've never said that. Saying he's that dude does not mean I think he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. I would never predict a first year starter. Even Peyton Manning, his first year he sucked. In his first year he struggled.
I think he still has like
I love Peyton Manning.
Dude, he has like the NFL record for most interceptions a rookie year, which is like that's like the best thing to bring up. If you have a rookie you love, I'll drop that stat all the time. Be like, look at Peyton Manning. You don't know.
Yeah, because I absolutely love Peyton Manning. I think he's a great quarterback. Obviously, he's hilarious. I think he's good. But like I would never predict a first year starter, not Jordan Love, not anyone, to be a Hall of Famer. I've never even thought about it. Why would you? So people are like, you think he's going to be a Hall of Fame? Like, no, when I say that dude, it means he's a franchise quarterback. And people still argue that. First of all, a franchise quarterback is the lowest standard ever. It's saying he is the quarterback and he's going to get a long-term deal. He's not just in and out. Like, that's just saying that he's going to get a 4-year deal or whatever the deal is that they're going to give him. He's going to be the quarterback. It doesn't mean that he's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Doesn't mean like all these crazy things people say. But Jordan Love, anyone who is arguing that he's not that dude, that he's not a functional quarterback, he's not, he's number 3 in touchdowns this year. Like anyone who would think that the top 5 quarterbacks in the league at touchdowns, like those are franchise quarterbacks. Those aren't just like it wasn't luck. You don't throw, you don't get like the top 5 in touchdowns on accident. It's not like it's stupid to me. Jordan Love is definitely that dude. I'm stoked about this game, next season, the playoffs. Like, we'll see where it goes this year. But it doesn't even matter what happens this year. The future is bright.
That's the thing. Like this year was all like, oh, let's just see what happens. No expectations. For us to be in this moment where now we have expectations of the playoffs just shows how great this team has gone. And like they've done so much better than people. Like we try to go into this of like, oh, hey, like we'll see what happens. Who knows? And they've completely turned it to be like, oh, we can be a playoff team. Like we could win a playoff game. Like that's how good this team has been. And what drives me nuts, and I'm not a person to do like the fan gating or whatever it's called of like, this is how you have to be a fan. But what I will never understand is a fan of a team thinking, I like Jordan Love's not the guy. I hope he does bad so we move on. No, because then your team sucks. Like, why would you ever think that? That's where I will be a fan gator of like whatever player you like, but don't hope somebody sucks because then your team's gonna suffer. Like that doesn't make sense in my brain. But the team has been, Jordan Love has shown like I know we can't sign a contract. What is it? It's a year after. So like you can't sign 2 contracts in 1 year or 2 extensions. So I don't think he can sign anything till like May or June. But dude, I honestly expect a deal for Love this year. Like to me, I'm ready to give him the deed to my house at this point. Like, hey, stay in Green Bay, dude.
So are you a contract knowing type of guy? Where do you see Jordan Love when he does sign his deal? Do you see him? Where do you compare him to like the top? Because I have no idea. People always ask me, like, what kind of deal do you think he's gonna get? Like, dude, if I knew that type of stuff, my podcast would be a lot better.
So you have the situations that piss so many people off, understandably, and owners especially, of the Deshaun Watson deal, change quarterback contracts. And then they try to get away from that with Lamar Jackson. Honestly, the thing that I could see if I'm his agent, what I'm doing is I'm pointing to Daniel Jones and I'm saying, dude got $40 million a year. He sucks compared to me. I should get at least $40 million a year. And then that's where he goes. I think if we sign him to a long-term deal, even like a 3-year extension, after that Daniel Jones deal, I don't see how it's not more than $40 million.
Daniel Jones, I think probably ruined it more than Deshaun Watson deal. Because Daniel Jones proved that even a trash quarterback, because like when Daniel Jones signed that deal, I'm not a hater. I don't try to like trash guys, but when he signed that deal, and I was like, maybe I don't know nothing. I thought he sucked. Like maybe he was good. Like I don't watch a lot of Giants games.
When you mentioned franchise quarterback, like is the lowest standard of like a starter. To me, that's Daniel Jones. You can win games with Daniel Jones, but you're probably going to lose some games with because of Daniel Jones. Like he is that. And for them to give him, like you said, the Deshaun Watson deal, the problem was the guarantee of it was $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
The Daniel Jones, the problem is you're giving homeboy 40+ million a year, which is so I'm with you. I think Daniel Jones ruined the market a little bit more. And not to hate on him because, hey, you got paid, you got your money.
Yeah, good for you.
Earned it, but now you kind of screwed us a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Jordan Love will get a good deal. Like I'm saying, I'm not a contract know-it-all. I wish I was. That'd be good for me, but I'm not. But
me and you will take a class this summer because I'll learn it.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why I just have smart people on, and then I have them tell me stuff.
Don't gesture to me at that point.
Yeah,
you might have in the past had smart people on. Yeah,
not this week. I got you on instead. No, but I feel like me and you vibe good together. We'll have to have another chat. But everyone, be sure to check out Mr. Jimmy Christensen on Twitter. He's on Pack-A-Day Podcast, probably the most listened to podcast in the world. Andy Herman over there, a lot of good people. They never asked me to come on, but whatever. I don't want to talk about it.
I got you on one of my weeks.
I'm just kidding. I feel like I'm not the same. I think the Pack-A-Day Podcast, they like limit it to like smart people.
Again, I am on it, so it is not limited to smart people.
I think you're probably a little bit smart. No, but that's a great podcast. Be sure to check that out. And Game on Wisconsin. What do you do over there? You Lombardi's Bar over there, right?
Lombardi's Bar, yeah. So we'll have that every Wednesday. Depends on where the season goes. We'll probably take the off season off, but we at least have a couple more weeks left of Lombardi's Bar. Wednesdays at 7:30 Central.
There you go, 7:30 Central Time, Lombardi's Bar. Yeah, I'll be on all off season, just yammering away, just talking about nonsense. But
perfect.
Hopefully this off season doesn't come this season or this week. I think I'll be at that game tomorrow. Probably freezing. Like the older I get, I don't like the cold weather. And I live in Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin. I wouldn't choose anything else. But the older I get, that cold starts hitting me a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Dude, my dad right now. So when I was a kid, we'd go hunting all the time. And like, I would be like, Dad, I'm freezing. Let's go to the car. He'd be like, oh, you're a baby. Give me the keys. This is the same way. The older he's gotten, dude can't stay out for like 20 minutes. I asked him to a Lambeau game. I was like, hey, I got tickets for December, whatever. He's like, no, dude, too cold. I'm like, what happened to you, man?
I'm going to the game tomorrow, but like I went to the store. I'm on vacation this week. And I was like, I gotta go to the store. I gotta get thermal socks. I gotta get like some sweatpants, put on my pants. I got my coat, pulled the coat out of the closet, knocked the dust off that thing. I'm like, I don't wear a coat because like people always say, like, how do you live in Wisconsin? It's so cold, whatever. Like, well, we don't hang out outside. Like I wear a hoodie, but I'm going to my house, to my truck, to wherever I'm going. I'm not like outside talking to the neighbors. No, it's cold. But for
straight
a Packer game, you're out there for like, and going to Lambeau Field, you're drinking. I got the ride hooked up. I got someone to pick me up. So my wife dropped me off, and hopefully I get home at some point, but I'm not driving. So you can drink a little bit, get that blood flowing a little bit because that cold hits a little different the older you get. But I think I'll be all right. I'm gonna be all thermaled up. I might actually wear because I have this like a snowsuit type of thing. I don't want to wear it. I think I bought it for that Packers-Niners playoff game I was at. It was cold. Like our beers froze out in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
It didn't freeze in the bowl. Like after we got into the game, maybe I was drinking faster. I don't know. But like me and my wife were out in the parking lot, and because she went to the game too, but she went with her friends, and I went with some people I knew. Yeah. And like before the game, I was like, our beers were freezing in the parking lot, but inside the bowl it didn't happen. So I don't know if it's warmer in there or if I was just chugging them down. You know what I mean?
Can we make a in-game deal right now?
Let's do it.
If the Packers get up 21 points, you got to strip down and be shirtless. As long as they're up 21 points, you're shirtless. I will also go outside and watch through my patio door, shirtless outside. If you do it at stadium.
All right, I'll do it for 21 points. I'll do it because that would be awesome. But I remember being at a game with some fellows, and they're like, we were like 4 or 5 of us, and they're like, hey, we're all taking our shirts off. And I was like, have at it, bud. And they're like, they got pictures, and like, I'm that one guy that didn't do it. I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to flex on what I got working under here. Like, like ain't nothing good. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like Lambeau's the one place if you can have as little clothes on as you want and you're accepted because it's Lambeau.
Oh, I know,
Like,
but I still, but those pictures, you know, at that time it's good, but those pictures last forever. And people are like, oh, I knew he was fat. I know he was that fat. And what's that? He should have that looked at. What is that on his shoulder?
They find like 6 moles of like, oh,
yeah,
that's cancerous for sure.
We got doctors commenting like, hey, come to my office immediately, free of charge. That thing needs to be looked at.
You need a prostate exam today.
Yeah, like you got things going on over there. That thing's got a hair growing out of it. But we'll wrap this thing up. We got Jimmy Christensen over here, one of my favorites. Shout out to Game on Wisconsin, Pack a Day Podcast. Also shout out to Kwik Trip sponsoring the show. You know, big the first sponsor, my favorite sponsor, Kwik Trip. Go get yourself some glaziers and all the things they got. And also Nicolay Law, big shout out to them. New sponsor, got some fun stuff coming up with them. The bearded man. They told me like after I got the Nicolay sponsorship, like you got to grow a beard. I'm like, my face don't work like that.
Oh, if I could grow a beard like Homeboy, I would never shave. It is
actually. I just bought a fake beard on Amazon because I got some video ideas they got going on. But people are like, you should grow a beard. I'm like, dude, I could be like on Castaway, like that movie with Tom Hanks. Like if I was on an island for like 3 or 4 years, they'd find me and it would still be choppy. I'd have a beard, dude, but it would still be like some. I'm like that. I'm like that first kid in middle school who grows a beard, but it's not all filled in, but he's still bragging about it. That's what I would have. Like, even like if I have vacation and I don't shave for like a week, I still don't have to wear a beard then at work. You know what I mean? I still can't fill it in, but
I respect it.
All right. I appreciate everyone who tuned in, whether you're live or listening to the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, like, and all those things. And you can also find the Matt Ramage Show on all places that you listen to podcasts. Either guys go to themattramage.com and you can find all the stuff I got going on. Big thanks to Jimmy. Appreciate you jumping on this thing today. And it's always fun. Let me look at it. I got the music right here. Let's rock out this thing. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Go back. Go. Packers beat down the Bears tomorrow. I have faith in you. And if they do 10-0 against the Bears in the last 10 meetings, can you imagine the type of trash talk I'm going to talk? Ooh, baby, I can't wait. Go Pack, go, people, Bears.